So when a person sees something that they believe to be suspicious, they may not fully understand how it fits into the broader picture. But it might be like one piece of a puzzle that helps us understand what the whole threat picture is. Threats and illegal activity aren't always obvious. Sometimes they're just a feeling that you have, something that feels a little bit out of the ordinary. Everyone plays an important role in keeping our community safe. So your report, combined with others and investigative findings, can stop tragedy from occurring.
Mass violence has a tremendous impact on our communities, our neighbors, our families, and our fellow New Yorkers. But it's important to remember that as an employee and everyday citizen, you have the power to stop an attack.
The Office of Counterterrorism conducts training, outreach, and education to enhance suspicious activity reporting and help protect New Yorkers. The Homeland Security effort in New York State came about shortly after 9/11 to assess and address the threats not only at the time, but as they evolve and change over time. This video is to educate staff at public gathering venues and critical infrastructure how to stay alert for potential threats.
Here's what we'll learn in the next few minutes. Why is reporting suspicious behaviors or items important? What might a suspicious person do before a mass attack? What behavior should I look for? What makes a bag or item suspicious? And what should I do and how do I report something? For something that presents an immediate threat, like a crime in progress, call 911. For anything else, trust your gut instinct and report it to the New York State Terrorism Tips Line or on the CSEND app. First, why is reporting suspicious behaviors or items important?
You don't have to be security staff to stand up and play an important role.
No report is too small. You're not really bothering law enforcement by reporting this suspicious activity.
While mass violence should never be normalized or expected, studies show that many attackers share similar characteristics. According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, many or most attackers behaved in a way that concerned family, friends, neighbors, classmates, and coworkers, had a history of physically aggressive or intimidating behaviors like past violent criminal arrests or charges, domestic violence, or other acts of violence towards others, and subscribe to a belief system involving conspiracies or hateful ideologies. Second, what might a suspicious person do before a mass attack?
The details are critical. They may seem small, but things like height, weight, appearance, that's information that helps law enforcement or security conduct a more thorough investigation.
Here are 8 signs of terrorism or activity that can be considered out of the ordinary. Surveillance, monitoring activities, taking pictures, making maps, and returning to observe the scene. Information gathering, asking about operations, staffing, and security protocols. Tests of security, measuring reaction times and learning how to enter restricted areas. Funding, making transactions involving large cash payments, deposits, withdrawals, or transfers. Acquiring supplies, attempting to get equipment like weapons, uniforms, badges, or credentials without a clear purpose or authorization. Suspicious persons out of place, hanging around places they shouldn't be or where they don't fit into daily surroundings. Dry or trial run, showing up at emergency scenes or observing false alarms to the same location. And deploying assets, putting supplies or people in position to commit an act of violence. If you spot something out of the ordinary or get information on the way to a call that suggests you or your crew would be in danger, consider staging at a safe distance. Next, what kinds of behavior are considered suspicious? Here are a few red flag behaviors and actions. Acting nervous or uneasy, discreetly taking photographs, videos, or notes near high traffic areas or security systems, hiding their faces from staff or security cameras, wearing clothing inappropriate for the current weather, like bulky clothing in summer, trying to gain access to restricted areas on foot or in a vehicle, bringing out-of-place packages into or around the facility, trying to hide items or leave them behind, parking suspicious vehicles at or near your establishment for extended periods or in unusual locations, and visiting repeatedly without making purchases and asking questions about the location.
Might seem like general curiosity at the surface, but could be someone attempting to gather information about the security of the facility.
Attackers might ask questions about crowd capacity and peak times, how security operates and whether personnel are armed, police response times to the venue, evacuation plans, camera locations and whether they're monitored, metal detectors and bag checks, safety checkpoints, main entrances and exits, whether doors lock from the inside or outside, how to access unusual locations like HVAC or ventilation systems, the roof, upper floors, server rooms, employee or VIP entrances or loading docks, getting help entering an event without a ticket or having their bag checked, passing items over or through a fence to the facility, and where to launch a drone. Next, what makes a bag or item suspicious? You may have walked past a bag in a public place and not given it a second thought, but look for these signs if you spot an unattended bag. Suspicious behavior. Someone puts down the item and leaves quickly. Location. The bag is out of place or in a high-traffic area like an entry point, a main walkway, or in the middle of a large crowd. Contents. The bag appears to contain dangerous items like protruding wires and could be emitting fumes, smoke, or smells. It might also be leaking or stained, or it can be heard ticking.
If you see a suspicious bag or item, don't touch it yourself. You should notify law enforcement or security so that they can look into it further.
If you find a suspicious bag or item, remember RAIN or RAIN. R. Recognize the problem. A. Avoid the area. I. Isolate the item. N. Notify authorities. Next, what should I do and how do I report something?
Always get as much information as you can without putting yourself in danger, and try to remember as many details as possible.
If you see suspicious activity, stay safe and report it to authorities as soon as possible. However, there are some don'ts to remember too. Don't take direct action. Don't confront the individual involved. Don't reveal your suspicions.
When you're describing the situation, try to remember the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why it's suspicious.
Here's who to call to report suspicious activity. If there are law enforcement officers at your facility, report to them. Call 911 or emergency services. If you don't think what you saw poses an immediate or direct threat to yourself or others, but is out of the ordinary, call the New York State Terrorism Tips Line or report it on the CSEND app. Finally, let's wrap it up and go over what we talked about today. Trust your instincts. If the action doesn't align with normal behavior or activity at the venue, report it. Be aware of your surroundings. Look for nervous or abnormal behavior. If you find a bag with dangerous items or in a high-traffic spot, remember RAIN. Recognize it, avoid the area, isolate it, and notify authorities. To report suspicious activity, you can alert authorities nearby. Call 911, call the New York State Terrorism Tips Line, or use the CSEND app.
Think public safety is a shared responsibility. People may feel that someone else will report the suspicious activity, but we really need people to trust their gut instinct and be this one to step up and report the activity to law enforcement.
That one piece of information you have may be the key to the puzzle that stops an attack and saves lives.